Welcome to Module 10, Managing the World's Most Difficult Person. You know, I shave the world's most difficult person every morning. My bride Beverly, over 30 years ago when we were first married, as a little joke, she bought a sticker and placed it on top of my bathroom mirror, and it said, "You are now looking at the problem." And we got a lot of chuckles out of that. But the more I thought about it, the more I knew she was right. You know, if you're looking at the problem, the good news is you're also looking at the solution. We can learn to manage ourselves, and we have to manage ourselves before we manage anything or anyone else. You know, you're asked to manage people's real estate, their single biggest financial investment, and the challenges that come with helping people buy and sell a home. We need to have our act together first so we can be a top-flight real estate professional. So let's dive right in to managing you, the world's most difficult person. There are three elements that we're going to cover: time, energy, and money. Time, energy, and money. Again, this is very much business thinking, not job thinking. In managing the world's most difficult person, time, energy, money. Now, in Module 9, we covered how to be a time management wizard. That was about the structure of our calendar. Now we're going to talk right now about time management tactics. So here's a couple of great tips. First, you got to stick to a daily routine. You got to stick to a daily routine. Here's a definition of routine. It's a prescribed, detailed course of action followed regularly. A prescribed, detailed course of action followed regularly. Routines, you have routines for a lot of things. And when we do routines, eventually they become second nature to us. You have a routine, I have a routine for brushing my teeth. And what happens is we do it the same way, almost every single time. So it becomes unconscious. And that's what we're hoping to do for all of you, is that initially these routines, I have to remember to write notes, I have to remember to do calls and pop-bys, I have to remember what to say. Well, the more you do it, the more you do it, the more you do it, the more routinized it becomes, the more unconscious it becomes, and you become an unconscious competent. So here's a couple of tips on how to stick to a daily routine. First, start each day at a set time. That's right. You own a business, but you want to have aspects of it where you're like a job. I'm going to show up at a certain time, even if you're working from home. You know, shower, shave, just like you're going to the job. And put on your makeup, get dressed for work, get dressed to see a client. Have that expectation. Have your breakfast, do your workouts. Start each day at a set time. Now, end each day at a consistent time. And that's where you have more of a range, or where you know you're not going to set the day where it's like, I'm finishing at 5, because real estate has some adjustments. But you want to be consistent and say, you know what? I'm not just going to keep in here tooling around on the internet, tooling around on paperwork, cleaning desks, working on MLS, updating a flyer. And the next thing you know, I've kind of cruised past when my family would normally be getting together to have dinner or hang out or some social activity you do or exercise activity. So try to have a consistent end time. And then schedule the non-negotiables before noon. In our last module, I talked about how you need to put the important stuff before noon when your energy is high. These are the non-negotiables, the calls, the notes, the pop-bys. That's the non-negotiables. You need to really do those early. John Maxwell said, "You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily." The secret to success is found in your daily routine, no question. Here's the next tip. Utilize time blocking. Utilize time blocking. Now, time blocking is creating mental and physical barriers to allow you to eliminate distractions. So mental and physical barriers to allow you to eliminate distractions. Sometimes it's as simple as turn off your phone, okay? Now, for me, the most important way to do this for lead generation is using what we call time blocking. And time blocking is scheduling specific time each day for lead generation. Specific time each day for lead generation. How many hours are we looking for a day? Well, you're killing it if you do 2 hours a day. Next, create a productive environment. I am very environmentally sensitive. So typically, if I'm going to go do some work, I have to actually kind of clean my workspace and have it all organized so I can feel kind of at ease. So what do I have to do? I have to schedule the time before the time. I have to schedule the time to get organized and clean, to create that productive environment so I can go to work. And then again, make lead generation non-negotiable. I'm just finding many ways to say the same thing sometimes, but I really want to encourage you in this. You know, the easiest thing to do with 100 Days to Greatness is got it all wrapped up in the real estate ready tasks. They are crucial so that you can be operating as a real estate professional. But you could do every real estate ready task and not generate a single lead. The lead generation is what generates the leads. The leads are what makes the clients are what makes the sales, and the sales is what keeps you in the business and has you earning a living. Another tip here for your time management is to utilize power hours. Utilize power hours. You want to utilize power hours and a minimum of 1 per day, okay? Now, if you do 2 hours a day, you're a rock star. And that's why right here in your program, we have this simple little sign. Now, this is a cool thing to laminate. If you're working from home, stick it on the outside of the door. If you're in an office, stick it in front of you so that you see it at all times. Power hour in session. Do not disturb. It's a simple little thing, but we've created these years ago. Our clients really love them because they help people really focus. A power hour is now in session. Next, on the power hour, get it on the calendar. Get it on the calendar. Call it that. Stay very focused. Give it 60 minutes, okay? And then take a break when you're done. Take a break when you're done. Now, one of the dynamics of taking a break, whether it be a day off or ultimately taking a vacation, I learned this from a gentleman who became a good friend of mine by the name of Tony Schwartz. And he and a man named Jim Loehr wrote a best-selling book called The Power of Full Engagement. And they're talking about managing energy, not time, is the key to high performance. So he talks about taking a break so you can manage your energy. And that's really where we want to go. I've given you some nice tips here on how to manage your time. Now we want to talk about managing your energy. So let's talk about it to start with. There are energy drainers that we need to be aware of. For example, fear and worry. Fear and worry are energy drainers. You know, it takes just as much energy to have hope and optimism as fear and worry. Fear and worry will drain you. And so even when you're doing a power hour, you don't have any debts, you don't have any bills, you don't have any problems. You just take that fear and worry away while you're doing your power hour. Indecision, not knowing what to do and how to do it. Well, thank God you're taking this training program. We're taking the indecision away from you. And then lastly, and the real estate business is full of this, is drama. Real estate agents love drama because it's kind of an adrenaline rush. Lots of stuff's going on. It makes you feel alive. We have a little phrase around here that says, save the drama for your mama, okay? Drama is an energy drainer. We don't want energy drainers. We want energy givers. So how can you boost up your energy? First and foremost, physical exercise. Now look, you don't have to be Body by Jake or Jane here, as I mentioned, but you are a corporate athlete. I wear this Apple Watch, not some fancy Rolex or whatever else, and the reason for it is because it gives me feedback every day. So here's an example of a day when I'm exercising, standing, and moving. And this gives me, how did I do in a given day? But it also gives me feedback on how did I do in the month? Was I consistent? And I get to look on my phone, it gives me that feedback. And I'm in a situation where sometimes I've had a long day, I feel exhausted because I've been using my mind. Hey, I need to go for a little workout or a 4-mile jog or something like that. Get the ball rolling. Physical exercise. The next energy giver is mental intake. Mental intake. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? If you're watching the news, if you're taking up all the clickbait on social media, there's a pretty good chance you feel down. Mental intake. What are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you reading? Are you putting the good stuff in? We all know garbage in, garbage out. Good stuff in gives you good energy. And then written goals. Now, we'll be coming to a module very soon about writing goals. And writing goals and having goals are great energy givers. So we know what the drainers are for energy. We know what the energy givers are. And now what we want is energy sustainers. We don't want just an energy giver like sugar. We want it that long-lasting, sustained energy. We want a long-lasting career. So here's one of the more surprising things of what sustains your energy is tracking your progress. Here's why. When you put your activities into the CRM, when you log in how many notes you did and how many calls you did, how many Popeyes you did, because you might not see any results for days, weeks, or even months. You have to track the activities so it can sustain your energy. So look, I'm doing the right things. I'm doing the right things. I'm doing the right things. And so the only way to do that is to track. The next thing is associations. Who you hanging out with? You want to hang out with people who are doing well. You want to hang out with people who are being successful. You want to hang out with people who are being positive. You want to hang out with people who have a good outlook on things. Will Rogers says, a man only learns in two ways, one by reading and the other by association with smarter people. And lastly, accountability. We got to have some accountability. Nick Saban, tied for the winningest coach in college football history, says there's three things we can't have. We can't have complacency, we can't have selfishness, and we can't lose our accountability. Accountability is crucial. You know, for right now, you can be accountable to the commitment you made for the 100 Days to Greatness. You can be accountable by putting your activities in your CRM. Maybe you're accountable to your broker or mentor who's helping you through this program, or a fellow student. Maybe eventually you're going to be accountable to a coach. So we covered time and we covered energy. And now the third element of managing the world's most difficult person is managing your money. And specifically in the area of money, we're going to talk about spending. Now, I'm just going to give you a couple of tips right here. In Module 18, we'll be doing an exhaustive breakdown on how to manage your money as a self-employed real estate professional in a module called Money Matters. But a couple of tips right now that are very important. First and foremost, know your expenses. Know your expenses. Know where your money's going. The next thing, and it's very much different in thinking from having a job to owning a business, is that you make cuts in your expenses at home to fuel your business. You have to make cuts at home. Is there a few subscriptions you have? Is there things you're paying for that you don't really need? Is there a few areas here that you could tighten up to create just a little bit of cash to be able to invest in your business, to grow your business? Your business is the golden goose. And the golden goose needs to be fed. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be raised, because the golden goose is eventually going to lay these golden eggs. If you starve the golden goose, if you starve your business will eventually die. So make cuts at home initially to fuel your business. And then remember this in real estate, that gross income is different from net income. You get trophies for gross income. Net income is what you keep. Very important that you manage it. Errol Flynn, the famous actor, said, "My problem lies in reconciling my gross habits with my net income." Okay? So make sure we control the spending. Next, we want to talk about saving. You want to set aside money for income taxes. Okay? And that's the first place to save. And again, we're going to go into this more exhaustively in Module 18. And then I'm going to show you a little formula that changed my life. It's called the 70-10-10-10 formula. And you can do this. 70-10-10-10 looks like this. You learn to live on 70% of what you make. You save 10%, you give 10%, and you invest 10%. Now, let me encourage you. When I first came exposed to this information here, I was spending about 106% of what I was making. And my bride and I had to make some cuts. So we made some cuts, and some of it was painful. In fact, I've been a golfer my whole life. Learned how to play golf when I was a kid. My dad has played golf for 60 years, and it was always part of our growing up. So I joined a little golf club in San Diego, and I could rationalize, hey, I meet good people there. I grow my database there. I'm talking business with some of the people I play golf with there. But when I did the budget, we had to make cuts, and I had to cut out being a member of the golf club. And now we were down to 97, 1, 1, 1. Okay? That's kind of how we started. And then we grew it from there. But eventually, you learn to live on 70% of what you make. You save 10%, you give 10%, you invest 10%, you'll be well on your way. And if you follow this formula, ultimately, we'll put you in a path that ultimately not only will you have very, very solid financial footing, but this investment account will eventually grow to be able to be the down payment on some of this investment real estate you buy. There is nothing more powerful than owning the very product that you sell. There's nothing more powerful than looking in the eye of a client and saying, let me tell you, this is such a good deal, I'd buy it myself. And I've been in a situation where I had a client who said, I don't want to buy it. And I said, well, I will. I'll buy it. And I've owned a lot of real estate and continue to own a lot of real estate. And that's ultimately what's made my fortune. So very, very powerful here, okay? Once you follow the 70-10-10-10 formula, now you get to fund a retirement account. Now, this is very important because in real estate, there's like one really nice application where you can fund your investment, a retirement account, and it reduces your tax liability. It's called a SEP IRA. in the States, and it's called an RRSP in Canada. And typically what agents will do is they'll file their taxes on tax day, pay their tax bill, and then file an extension. And during the course of that extension, they save up the money to invest in their SEP IRA or RRSP and reduce their tax liability. At the same time, growing their retirement investment account. So plenty of people who can talk to you about growing your retirement account like that. It's a good thing to just be aware of. You know, Warren Buffett says, don't save what's left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. Okay, great stuff. On the investing side itself, and that's part of the 10%, one of the places to invest is in your business. You know, do you like stocks? Well, let me tell you, the best stock that's available right now is you. You've just gotten into one of the most proven industries in the world. Food, shelter, clothing. It's not going anywhere. Real estate's not going anywhere. You want to invest in a stock where there's honest and hardworking ethic involved. That's you, honest and hardworking. And you want to invest in a business that has a lot of upside potential. Well, let me tell you, where's there more upside potential than you? I'm sharing these stories of people just like you that started with nothing, that had no transactions at all. And 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years into it, are making millions of dollars. You can do that. You made an investment to start with me right now called 100 Days to Greatness. And there's more opportunities to invest in yourself as you go. So you want to invest in your business. The second piece is invest in yourself. That's not just training, but personal development, self-development. The very first millionaire in America was Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin did a lot of things, but he was the very first millionaire. And he said, if a person will empty their purse into their head, it's the best investment and no one can take it from him. Very powerful. And then lastly, you want to invest in your clients. You know, client parties, pop-by gifts, sending out the items of value that you're investing in your clients. You can do this. See, if you do these things that we're talking about, manage your time, energy, and money, you'll be managing not only the world's most difficult person, but the best asset you've got. And ultimately, stock price is going to rise. You know, speaking of stock price, Terry Jones from Orillia, Ontario, he started with us when he was 6 months into his real estate career. It took him 6 to 7 months to get his first commission check. And that's why, keep going, even if you're not getting results. You know, he ended that year with 27 transactions and earned $190,000 in commissions. You may think that's like a fairy tale. That can't be true. Well, doesn't it make sense? He was doing the activities. He started going, he started doing the calls and the notes on the pop-bys, and he started to generate a few leads and a few more leads, and then he made a few more sales, got a bit more confidence, and those sales produced more sales, and those leads produced more leads, and on you go. And you can. That's why you don't want to give up. You want to persevere. So, we talked about managing the world's most difficult person. That's you, that's me. Time, energy, money. We talked about the money side, the 70-10-10-10 formula. That what we live on, what we spend, what we save, and what we invest. Hopefully, these tips have brought together for you a little bit of comfort of how you can manage yourself and be a real capable professional in serving your clients. Now, don't forget, we've got to take some action on this training. Otherwise, it's just entertainment. So we have some real estate ready steps for you today. First, build and establish relationships with a number of lenders in your area, and also build or establish relationships with a number of closing services or escrow companies in your area. Make sure any activities you do this week that you always update the Referral Maker CRM so you can get that feedback so you don't give up. Now, I'm excited for you because in Module 11, I'm going to speak on one of my favorite subjects of all time, which is goal setting and ultimately how to be a goal getter. We'll see you then.